All right, picking back up in Rio de Janeiro, we're going to go over the opening break, the ending break, and a bit of a solo phrase. So this is numbers 56, 57, 58 in the book. And so we're going to start with the opening break. And your response is going to be an emphatic 1, 2, 3, right? So just keep that in mind. So when I hit these three notes for right now, you're just going to hit that with me. So it goes like, it's a 6 counts, and then you're in on 6 and 7. You know what? You'll hear what I'm doing. Right? It goes like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Boom, boom, boom. I'll count it out loud as I do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 8 is a dead count, and then we come in, right? With the groove that we did last time, right? Let's do this a few times, right? Again. Try it again. All right, I'm going to add a little loop to see if you to add in a response on the recording to see if you can, have some reinforcement. See if that helps. I'll do it for real this time. It's a little tricky. It's with my left foot. Right. There we go. Not supposed to be looping. There, fixed. Right. Now, let's go, and we're going to play from boom, boom, boom. We have a little dead count, and then we go into our rhythm. So, I'm going to sing it. Boom, tigga-dum, the bum, buzz, the jump, boom, boom. Now, shakers, you go right into your rhythm like that. Bell players, clave players, boom, tigga-dum, da-dum, this is the tuka-tuka, boom, boom, boom. Right? So this is how we're starting. The end works a little differently. And if you're a Mozambique player, I'm just going to hand drum it on this drum. This drum, by the way, is a drum you'd see in Carnival. This is called a hapiki, or hapaniki, or it's actually spelled with an R, but Brazilians, they drop their R's at the beginnings of words. So hapiki is R-E-P-I-Q-U-E, I believe. So you got your Mozambique rhythm. Dum, tigga-dum, ba-bum, buzz, bum, 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 and right? And we got our surdo. Sometimes people say surdo. It's not spelled like that. It's spelled S-U-R-D-O. Boom, tigga-dum, da-dum, this is the tuka-tuka, boom, 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 and right now, the djembe is out of shot right now, but if you were playing it on your hands, it would be high, low, low, high, low, low, high. This is a review. If you forgot that part, go back and watch the other video. All right? So we're going to go from this opening break into our engine room. Right? Let me see if I can even do this. You know what? I'm going to put a little switch over here. And patience? Nope. I messed it up. There we go. There's always a fast forward button. You can skip ahead if you need to watch that again. Right? It didn't go on. Let's try it again. Working, right? We're gonna have to do this in class. I'm gonna try this one more time. You know, I sang through it a few times so you understand how it goes. I just would love to demonstrate it with a little bit of electronic accompaniment here. That worked. Here we go. And. And cut. Let's try it again. So again, I'm counting on you remembering your rhythm. This is the Hapiki rhythm. So if we were playing in person together, this is in the samba school type of rhythms. This isn't a direct samba rhythm. Every one of these rhythms is taken from a Brazilian rhythm in a way that makes them fit together. But I've modified them to make it, in some cases, a little bit more playable, and in some cases, a little bit more interesting. And to make it kind of like a pan-Brazilian type of groove as opposed to something that you see or hear directly out of samba from Rio. The surdo part is pretty close to a samba drum part. Mozambique rhythm is a little bit of a different thing. Clave rhythm is actually something you'd hear a little bit more in bossa nova music. Ganza rhythm, yeah, that's a pretty stock rhythm. Let's try that again. This time, I'm not going to play. I'm just going to do the DJ stuff over here, and I want you to see if you can, maybe without me playing this, see how you fare there. Here we go. And go. Right. I should be doing this video over, but we're going to make this work. It's going to make it work. All right. You know what? I give up. Right. So, you know what? We'll cover that more in class. The ending break, right? So let's say everybody's playing this groove. And I give you a call. We go 1, 2, ba 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 ba. Ba bum ba bum bum bum. Right? So you're still playing your rhythm. And you're processing that there's a signal coming. This is how we stop. What we just did before. That's how we start, right? And now I'm talking about how we end. So just like with D-Bone, there's ways to start and ways to end. And they both require being able to hold on to one rhythm as you're playing it while you're hearing a different one that signals you that something's about to change. Right? And that's the thing that takes a little bit of practice, because if your hands know what the thing is supposed to feel like, they will take some of the load off of your brain from doing this. All right, so here we have our groove. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Everybody just plays that nice and strong. Ba bum ba bum bum bum. Right? So here we go. We'll just you know what? I'm gonna tempt fate. I'm gonna try and start us, and then we'll see if we can get into this, right? And now remember the rhythm goes like this. Ba 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 ba. That, right? So you're still playing. back into your rhythm. We won't do the start thing because this is clearly not working well for me right now. We're going to start the rhythm, just cold start. 1, 2, here we go, and. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, let's do that one more time. 1, 2, start your groove. Last thing we're doing, number 58, the solo phrase, right? So now this is based off of the Mozambique rhythm. So this solo phrase is going to be played by the small drums. Low drums, surdos, you're going to hold down the fort with your bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. And the small drums, the high drums, are going to start with this Mozambique-ish rhythm, but then it kind of branches off. So I'm going to work it through. Now, it's in the music here, and you guys can all read quarter notes and eighth notes. So I'm not going to belabor this too much, right? But I will let you hear how it goes. You know what? Let's see if we got this one going. Let's not use that. All right? So I'm just going to go through the solo phrase. I'm going to play it all straight through, counting simply once, and then I'm going to break it down for you. All right, so here's the solo phrase, number 58. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, and 2, 3, and 4. That's a mouthful. I'm going to do it without counting this time. Just check it out. And it's basically, you can almost break it down into like Morse code. It's shorts and longs. One, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. It's a series of those sorts of spacings mostly. Here we go. 1, 2, solo phrase, and. Hear that Mozambique going underneath, kind of implied the whole time. The only time it departs from it is measures 5, 6, 7, right? And then it kind of links back up at measure 8. I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to break it down. Ready? So a lot of slaps. Remember that the X on that second space down is a slap. The regular note head, the regular solid note head, in that same second space down is just a tone. Both of those are out on the edge of the drums. This is all review, right? This is stuff from before that you should remember from last semester and just from the general playing of your instrument. And then the note head that's at the bottom of the staff, if you're reading treble clef, it would be an F. At the bottom space, that's your bass, right? So if we play our Mozambique rhythm one time and we do 2 slaps, 2 tones, 1 slap, and 4 bass, we get this first section, right? Slap, slap, tone, tone, slap, bass, 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 bass. Again, go. Embellishment on it. So the next section is 4 slaps, 2 bass, slap, tone, tone, slap, bass, right? You can also read this, right? You don't have to memorize it exactly. You can kind of decode it right there. So here's measures 3 and 4 of this solo. So we have that little hiccup at the end. Slap bass, right? So measures 3 and 4, ready and go. Slap, 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 bass, bass, slap, tone, tone, slap, bass. Slap, 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 bass, bass. Slap, tone, tone, slap, bass. Again, go. Slap, 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 bass, bass. Slap, tone, tone, slap, bass. Again, go. Slap, 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 bass, bass. Slap, tone, tone, slap, bass. From the first 4 bars now. First 4 bars. 1, 2, ready, and go. And slap, slap, tone, tone, slap, bass, 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 bass. Slap, 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 bass, bass. Slap, tone, tone, slap, bass. Now, which hand do you use? Whichever hand can get there, right? I recommend alternating because then each hand has the most time to get to the next thing, right? Because I could play the whole thing with one hand. It's just not comfortable and I can't get fast, right? Oh, I reversed the last 2 notes, but you get the point, right? That's not an option if you're trying to do everything with one hand. And so we use the extreme to prove the point, which is alternate gives you more options. First 4 bars, a couple more times. 1, 2, and a ready, and a go, and. Again, go, and. Okay? Now, the next few bars, you get cut, you get kind of caught in a little loop here. So it's tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, slap. Do that with me. Right? It's a little bit of a stutter, musically speaking. Ready, and go, and tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, slap, bass, slap. Now you can feel like, where the heck is that coming from? That's the point. It's supposed to mix things up. When you're coming out of that other rhythm, you want to have a little bit of unpredictability, and then we can link back up at the end, back with that Mozambique rhythm. Now, I'm going to put it to a beat. 1, 2, solo phrase. This is measures 5, 6, 7, and a little bit of 8. No, just 5, 6, 7. Ready, and go, and tone, slap, bass. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Again, go. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Again, go. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're gonna finish it out. And again, this is something you guys can read quarter notes, eighth notes, eighth rests, quarter rests. You can read this rhythm, right? So what I'm doing is just a little bit of reinforcement. But this is something, if you put your minds to it, you could definitely read this because everybody has passed last semester, so you know how this semester, this is nothing new. This is it just might take a little bit of attention. So measures 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the solo phrase here. Here we go. 1, 2, go, ready, and go, and. The beat, 2, ready, and. A lot of slaps there. 2, again, ready, and go, and. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, again, and go, and. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Notice I just counted it 2 ways. If that screws you up, ignore one of them. Ignore the one that messes you up, right? They're both valid ways, right? You can either feel it to this pulse or you can feel it to the quarter note, whichever one works for you, all right? Here is the whole solo phrase. I'm going to do this a couple times here, and then I'm going to put it with the accompaniment so that you have a chance to hear how it goes against it. Here we go. Whole solo phrase. 1, 2, ready, and go, and. faster. Let's check in with the tempo that I had this loop set up at before. All right. So this is where if you want to mess around with the playback speed of the video until you can get it fully up to this tempo, and do some kind of in-between tempo, that might be the thing to do. Here's the whole solo phrase at this performance tempo. 1, 2, and ready, and go. Okay, now, here's one thing that I want everybody to be able to do as you're working on this. I want you to be able to, well, if you are a drummer, be able to play this. Now, in the context, if we were playing together in a whole group, yes, this would be the small drum phrase, but I think just in case, it's actually a good idea. It also keeps things interesting for everybody who's playing a drum. I want you to, even the big drums, I want you to learn how to play this. And if you're playing a shaker or a bell, I want you to be able to play your shaker or bell part against this. So I'll make some more materials available for you to practice this, but this is just another one of those, like, can you do one thing while you're hearing another thing, right? So I'm going to bring the loop back in, and I'm going to do this solo phrase a couple times. And you know what? Let's see. I'm going to slow this down so you hear it a little bit slower at first. Here we go. Solo phrase. 1, 2, ready, and go. Right? So it kind of melts in and out. Let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, and go. And bass, 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 bass. Okay, so now we're going to play it faster. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, and go. Again. Right. So this is some more advanced stuff, and I just wanted you to have a little bit more deep material to work on so that you could get a sense of how well you have a command of even the most basic patterns. If you can play a basic pattern while that's going on, well, you have a good command of that basic pattern. And if you can play that over a basic pattern, well, you have a good command of both, right? So it's a good way to test things and keep things interesting. And the cool thing, the reason I like doing things like this, we'll kind of call it a day here in a moment. I always like the idea of having an abundance of ability, having more skill than you'd ever need in a given moment, right? Now, sometimes that's more abstract, sometimes it's more concrete, but you never on stage want to feel like this is the hardest thing I've ever done ever. You want to feel like, I got this. I've done things that are more difficult than this. That's a good feeling to have while you're performing. And so that's one of the reasons why once in a while I'll throw something in like this, because it will push you further. And so your definition of what a complex rhythm is might be a little further down the road after you do this. That's my goal. And anyway, I hope you this was enjoyable, and rewind to your heart's content, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.